So here we go. Today's topic is the fundamental unit of life. So why the cell is called as a fundamental unit of life? Because cell is an independent smallest component of any living body. Yes, so it gives a structure to our living organism and it performs the core functions like production of ATP molecules and movement of molecules in and out of the cell by the plasma membrane and the production of proteins by ribosomes. What are all the proteins needed for the body is being produced by the ribosomes. So the functions of the whole body is being carried out by one independent component, smallest component called a cell. So cell is called as a fundamental unit of life. Here we go. So today in this video we are going to learn about what are living organisms made up of and microscope by whom the cells are made visible. Yes, we are going to see about the parts of the microscope and the pioneers in the cell biology, that is, who have contributed for the cell biology and types of the cells in our body and what is cell made up of, the organelles, right? And plasma membrane and the process, diffusion, osmosis, hypotonic, hypertonic, isotonic. So all those processes involved we are going to see in detail. So what are living organisms made up of? So living organisms are made up of cells. Yes, here you could see the picture, a diagram showing an onion cells under a microscope. Okay, there are some organisms, their whole body structure is made up of only one cell and they comes under unicellular organisms. Example, amoeba, chlamydomonas, paramecium and bacteria. And multicellular organisms, whether their whole body is made up of many number of cells. So for example, humans will have 3 trillion cells in our body. Okay. So here comes a microscope, an instrument which is used to visualize the microorganism that cannot be seen through our naked eye. So microscope have the parts such as eye lens, coarse adjustment, fine adjustment, arm, objective lens, stage, mirror, condenser, clip, microscopic slide, etc. Okay, so this compound microscope contains an eyepiece constituting of convex lens and an objective lens constituting of convex lens. So the microscope will have two convex lens, biconvex lens with a short focal length. An eyepiece have the magnification of 10x, 15x, 20x. An objective lens will have the magnification of 10x, 40x and 100x. It is mean that if eyepiece is of 10x magnification and objective lens is of 10x magnification, it is seen that it is magnifying the 100 times of the real organism which is kept on the slide. And there is a biggest norm, coarse adjustment. Coarse adjustment is to focus on the scanning, and fine adjustment, a smallest knob in the microscope which is used to focus on the oil. So oil which is usually used during the 100x magnification process. So here comes the pioneer who have contributed for the development of cell biology. So first comes Robert Hooke. He have seen the dead cells by his self-designed microscope in the bark of the tree. And Anton Leeuwenhoek, who have discovered the living cell in a pond water. And Robert Brown in 1831, he have discovered the nucleus inside the cell which contains a genetic material. Yes, okay. Then Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm. Protoplasm is nothing but the cytoplasm plus the nucleoplasm, the nucleus part. The whole thing which is called as a protoplasm. And Schleider and Schiavone, 1838 and 1839, they developed the cell theory. What is cell theory? Cell theory in the sense they have given that all the living organism is made up of cells, and cells are the structural and functional unit of the life. And comes a Virchow in 1855. He have expanded the theory by adding one statement that the new cells will arise from a pre-existing cells. Yes, right. The parent nuclei will divide into two daughter nuclei. Yes, so the new cells are dividing coming from the pre-existing cells. So here comes the types of cells in our body. So smooth muscles, a muscle fiber which is of linear cell, right, and the blood cell, nerve cell, fat cell which is of adipose tissue, and bone cell, sperm male gamete and a female gamete. Next comes the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane, as you all know, that it covers the cell, it protects the cell, it gives shape to the cell, and it manages the entry and exit of the molecules. So how it is doing all those things? It acts as a semi-permeable to some molecules present on either side of it. In that way, it is promoting the entry and exit of the molecules in and out of the cells. So many molecules can briefly move across a membrane without any requirement of energy. So see, you could see that neutral molecules like water molecules, oxygen molecules, carbon dioxide molecules can move freely in and out of the cell, and they won't need any ATP molecules to enter into the cells. So that transport, we call that as a passive transport. Without any energy requirement, that particular compounds can be transported in and out of the cell. And neutral solutes may cross the membrane by the process of simple diffusion along the concentration gradient. So neutral solutes, in the sense, the solutes which is not having any charge in it. The positive ions and the electrons are equal in them, so they won't have any charge. So that neutral solutes may cross the membrane by the process of simple diffusion. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is nothing but the movement of solutes from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So concentration gradient is also, it means the movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. So the neutral solutes, the solutes without any charges, can cross in and out of the cell membrane without any ATP molecules. That is by the process simple diffusion. So here comes the charged molecules, the ions, positive ions and the negative ions. How that is being transported, that too against the concentration gradient. Again, the concentration gradient, in the sense, from a lower concentration to higher concentration. So if a molecule want to travel from higher concentration to lower concentration, there is no need of any energy molecules. There is no need of ATP molecules. But now here, it is of against concentration gradient, like lower to the higher concentration, it have to be transported. So imagine inside the cell, there is a low concentration of sodium ions than the outside the cell. But still, I don't want that particular concentration of sodium ions inside my cell. I have to send some sodium ions out of the cell. So this is lower concentration to the higher concentration transport, right? So for this transport, I need ATP utilization. I need ATP molecules. By utilizing that and with an energy, I can send that throughout my cell. Okay, so what is sodium potassium pump? This sodium potassium pump creates a gradient between the sodium ions and the potassium ions, and this is needed for the numerous bodily processes such as nerve cell signaling, heart contraction, and kidney functions. Okay, so this has been, the ions has been transported by active transport by utilizing an energy. So here comes the structure of the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane is made up of lipids and proteins. Here you could see the blue color portion of the lipids, that is hydrophilic part of the lipid, and the black color tail coming out from, and that is a hydrophobic part of the lipid. So this is water loving and this is water hating, this part. So this way it protects the cell organelles, and you could see the proteins which is integrated into the lipid membrane, and this known as integral proteins. So the variation, the percentage of lipid and the protein will varies according to the plasma membrane. Yes, okay. And what is this fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane? See, there are 4 different models of the plasma membrane proposed by the scientists: lipid and lipid bilayer model, and unique membrane model, and fluid mosaic model, which is by the Singer and Nicholson. Nicholson scientists has been approved all over it's been accepted, it's been proved all over the world. Okay, so diffusion, what is diffusion? The movement of solute from higher concentration to lower concentration. So here you could see the red color solute molecules which is moving from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is, it is dispersing. Okay, and comes osmosis. Osmosis is a movement of solute from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So what is important here, what is differing from the diffusion here? It's a semi-permeable membrane. And comes here, you could see there is a semi-permeable membrane between the 2 concentrations, and here the water molecules are diffusing into the next compartment, right, through the semi-permeable membrane, and this is osmosis. And comes the hypotonic. Hypotonic is nothing but if the medium surrounding the cell has a higher water concentration than the cell, that is the outside solution is very dilute. If the outside solution is very dilute than the cell's environment, what will happen? The water molecules will move in, thus balancing the cell's components, right? So this way, if hypotonic is the case, the cell swells up. The movement of water molecules from outside, it enters into the cell, that making the cell to swell. And comes the isotonic. Iso, the word means the same. You have studied in physics and chemistry, right? Isotopes, isobars, isotonic. So iso the same. So here the concentration in and out of the cell is same. So the cell remains same. The hypertonic. Hyper, the word denotes the higher. So here our outside cell environment is of highly concentrated. If it is highly concentrated, what will happen? This water molecules which is inside the cell will move out. The diffusion process will move out, thus the cell shrinks. So here are the diagrammatic representation for the hypertonic solution, for the isotonic solution, and for the hypertonic solution. So here comes the protoplasm. Protoplasm is the one, the nucleus and the cytoplasm are together called as protoplasm. And thank you. I hope I'm making it the things clear. We'll see in the next video. Thank you all.